Okay, this is a fun one. This is an urban massing workflow using slabs in TopoKit. We are thinking about generating different kinds of urban massing using our slabs tool. Now, the slabs tool gives you the ability to define an area and where that area lands at its top and at its bottom, right? So we are defining a base topography, which is this gray surface. That's our bottom topo. And then we actually think of the tops of the buildings in terms of a kind of topography. And the neat thing about that is that, like, if we turn these on, off, we get this like beautiful continuity between building types, and we can create a little bit more light coming in, etc. But the neat thing is that there are there's really fast ways of editing this. So if we say function F10 and we grab a few points to change things and just move it down, those zones update automatically, immediately. And then there we go. So our green can be our sort of high rises, and then the pink are sort of in between, and blue are sort of the lower buildings. And they all sit on the same topography, which is neat. Now, this is actually honestly a very straightforward mini workflow, but because of that, let me give you a tour through the script itself. So I'm just gonna actually go full screen here and show you that off the building outlines layer, we have building type 1, and that's being used to create an area or set of areas. In this case, there are 33 areas that it's creating. And then each of those areas is then getting turned into a slab or some sort of volume, whether that's a mesh or a surface. And I can show you how we do both. And then that goes into a preview/bake component, and those are all connected to one bake button. Let's look at and really quickly and see how, if we change our curves, so F10, we can change our buildings in plan. So those inputs that are going into the geo pipeline are automatically updating in our site. Those are some pretty thin buildings, but yeah, we'll let you be the judge of this. The other thing to be aware of is that we can bake. So if I hit bake, it's going to create mesh buildings. And that's sort of the first style that we can do. Mesh buildings are going to be way faster in your file if you're rendering or whatever, but there are some limitations. You may want to pay attention here to the area settings. So these are just the default area settings. So we're seeing a little bit of simplification there on the tops of the surfaces. But if you want something that's a little bit more smooth for some reason, you can use the BREP style. So it takes a second or two longer to process the surface-based meshes. And we got to give it a second because it's thinking. Okay, so we're now drawing all BREPs or B-reps, as more people probably say, and even more people say surfaces or poly surfaces. So if I hit bake now, it's going to replace the old meshes, and you'll see that there are surfaces defining the tops and the bottoms of those buildings. So yeah, that's some urban massing. And we have make sure to look for the other mini workflow that we figured out a way to make all the tops of the buildings flat. So there's a few options for you. We're gonna show you that one as well.